Hi everyone! I have been following the increasingly popular Noom program for the past 8 months, and have I ever got some insights for you? So don't go anywhere, let's talk. Okay, so a few months ago, I posted a video about Noom after I'd been doing it for about 4 months, trying to assess whether or not it was worth the money and whether I would recommend it as a program for you. That video actually got a lot of views. Perhaps you're here watching this video because you found me from the first one. If so, welcome back. If you haven't seen that video yet, I definitely recommend you just hit pause, quick go back and watch that one before you watch this one, because there's a lot of information in there I'm going to cover that I'm not covering in this one that you need to know. I will link it up here and in the description box below so it's easy for you to find. Before we get too far into the video though, I'm looking for some audience participation. Okay, so this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to go down to the comments and answer this question. What is your personal biggest obstacle to getting healthy? Is it money? You're too busy with kids? Your job is too stressful? You don't know where to start? I would say for me, my personal biggest obstacle is stress. I have general stress and anxiety a lot of the time, and it can be debilitating. I know now also that stress raises my cortisol levels, making it even harder to lose weight. It leads me to make a lot of unhealthy food choices. It leads me to want to sit around and binge on Netflix instead of getting the exercise I need. Stress is my roadblock. Anyway, the reason I want audience participation is because I want to know, like, am I alone in this? Are there others who are struggling with this? Or are there other things keeping you from getting healthy, from losing weight? If so, pop it below. Maybe I'll do a video on some of those topics going forward in the future. All right, so I promised you all in the first video that I was going to try to stick with the Noom program for 4 more months, despite the glacially slow weight loss I had experienced, despite some of the discouragement I was feeling. I made that promise and I did stick to it. Well, what happened? I'm not sure if you can tell by my face on this video compared to the last one, but I definitely did lose more weight and found a lot more success in the past couple months than I did in the first few months. But, and there's a big but here, was that because of Noom? Or was it because of something else? Dramatic pause. Okay, truthfully, I have lost an additional 10 to 15 pounds on top of the 15 pounds I lost in the first 4 months. So I've lost about the same amount I did before. However, I am feeling so much better than I was 4 months ago. So I have lost a combined total of about 25 to 30 pounds, which is really, really encouraging for me. And I wanted to say thank you to so many of you who have been watching, who encouraged me, who left comments, who were like, Jen, slow and steady weight loss is better than quick anyway. You can do this, just stick with it. It might take you 2 years, but that is fine because I've probably lost about half of what I want to lose. And yeah, I just want to say that right off. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement and your kind comments. However, this was not completely to do with Noom, and I have to be honest with you guys from the start, because I know you are watching this video to find out about the Noom program, and I just want to be totally transparent that especially this most recent weight loss isn't necessarily because of Noom. It does factor in there and I want to talk about that, but I also want to share with you some other strategies I've been using in case it's helpful for you. Okay, first off, how did I find actually finishing the Noom program? Well, just like my first round, I found the homework and all the psychology work to be fairly difficult, and I probably wasn't as committed to this as I should have been. I got bored of it, to be honest, and frankly, I'm a mom of 6 kids. Life is really incredibly crazy and busy, and I mean, I could commit for 4 months to doing that kind of half an hour of really hard work and homework that needed to be put into this, but to keep that up for an extended period of time, like on top of going to the gym and on top of all my work during the day and everything I need to help the kids with, I just didn't have the time anymore to be reading these articles. So frankly, I gave up on that piece. Sorry to say, sorry to disappoint you all. But I did stick with the kind of daily encouragement, the logging of food and calories, logging your weight each day. And one thing I absolutely loved about the second part of the course was that They encourage you actually to take a break from reading articles. They encourage you to take a break from counting calories, from logging everything you eat, from weighing yourself every day. They encourage you to take a break from that and use your own intuition to make choices. And I really appreciated this because they outright said in the course, our goal is to have you graduate from Noom and never come back. So I appreciated that they were really transparent about that and that they weren't trying to get me to keep re-upping and sending them more money and that I had to be kind of attached to this program in order to continue to lose weight. They tell you outright their goal is for you to change so significantly in your thought processes, in your behavioral habits, that you don't need to follow an app to do it anymore, that you just do it intuitively. And I would say that that definitely happened for me. So for example, making changes to my breakfast routine, that was a big one for me. And I will say that I definitely have broken the unhealthy breakfast habit. And I'm hopeful that for the rest of my life that will change. I've definitely noticed a huge difference in choosing water-dense, low-calorie foods that fill you up, like your fresh fruits and vegetables that are just so high in nutrients. And that's something that I really have never done my entire life. And now I'm really excited because I've gotten into that habit and I feel so much better for it. And I don't need an app anymore to keep track of those choices. I'm just naturally making those choices at each and every meal. And some of that psychology that we learned, being able to change your self-talk, being able to really utilize quietness and meditation to lower your stress levels instead of turning to food, that stuff really has stuck with me. And I think that I am seeing things in a much more positive light than I was. So for all of that, Noom, thank you very much. I'm not going to be obviously doing Noom going forward after this 8 months. I've done the program, but all of those habits are gonna stick with me. So if you've never done Noom and you're here because you wanted to know about it, I definitely would recommend the program. But what I think you should do to know if it's right for you is to try their 2-week trial. So it's a free trial you can do. That's what I did. And then you can decide at the end of the 2 weeks whether or not you wanna stick with it, if it's working for you. By the way, let's have a thumbs up break. If you are liking this video, please do me a favor and click the thumbs up below. It really helps the video in the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribing, clicking the bell notification so that you don't miss future videos. That all helps the channel out, and I would really, really appreciate it if you guys can do that for me in addition to any comments you're leaving. I have a few major things I want to tell you that have nothing to do with Noom at all, that have led to my overall feeling of wellness and continued weight loss, and I want to share those with you now. Number one, as I alluded to in my first video, I went to see my family doctor. I had not gone to see my family doctor in person since the beginning of the pandemic, and it was time. It was time to do regular blood work anyway. It was time to have some discussions about my chronic pain caused by fibromyalgia, and also to discuss why it was so hard for me to lose weight. And my doctor's amazing. She sat down with me, and first of all, she was like, Jen, you're not an unhealthy person. You know, she kind of went into how I'm not at a weight where I'm like dangerously unhealthy. And also that what matters more to her is what's coming across on my blood work. How am I looking that way? Where's my blood pressure at? Where's my cholesterol levels at? And I have always scored very well for those numbers. And this time around with my doctor, it was no different. I always have like low blood pressure. I have great low cholesterol every time. My other levels are usually amazing. So I did some blood work, and the only thing that came across was I was maybe a little low on iron, and there was some unexplained inflammation markers, which is not surprising when I suffer from an autoimmune disease. I got my thyroid checked, and so many of you left comments about my thyroid. People were like, yes, Jen, like look at your neck. You obviously have thyroid issues. Well, I get my thyroid routinely tested every time I go to the doctor, basically. This time was no different, and surprise, surprise, once again, my numbers came back normal. Not just normal, but they were really, really good. So, this was something also mentioned to me by another healthcare practitioner I'd seen, that some people, it's just how your neck looks. So guys, I mean, it's hereditary. I've got a fat neck. There's no way around it. It is who I am. It's always been who I am. And it's not like suddenly I had a very slender neck and then it got puffy. This is just like, if you look at the women in my family, this is what our neck looks like. And it doesn't mean we have thyroid problems, but we do get comment after comment after comment about people saying, I think you need to check your thyroid. And it's been no different on YouTube. And I got my thyroid checked and it was completely fine. So I knew that is not an issue for me. So what's a girl to do? I'm still having chronic pain, having trouble losing weight, and not knowing what to do with it because all my blood levels were fine. So it's not like I was missing something or needed to go on a medication for something. So, I did something drastic, okay? Enter this book that my sister graciously lent to me. It is called Meals That Heal Inflammation by Julie Daniluk. Maybe you have heard of her, like I think she has a show on the Oprah network. Maybe you've seen her on TV or on YouTube. I mean, it looks like a fairly unassuming book, and I didn't think it was gonna be very life-changing for me. But basically the idea is that everybody's bodies are different. And some of us have food allergies that we are undiagnosed, and we don't necessarily break out in hives or something because of it, but it can express itself in chronic pain, and it can be harming our body's system, and it can be affecting how the bacteria is working in our stomach, to the point that we are in debilitating pain a lot of the time. Now, I was skeptical of this because, some of my pain is just caused by structural things in my body. I have horrible feet, horrible knees and hips. And so some of my pain is caused by that because my spine is always out and I'm always having to see the chiropractor, the osteopath for this type of thing. So needless to say, I was skeptical but willing to try anything to feel better. And this, I hope you're getting from this video so far that this is about so much more than weight loss. This is about how I feel every day. It's not about how I look. It's not about what the number says on the scale. It's about how I'm feeling. And I really wanted to change that. I wanted to have more energy and not be tired all the time. So the idea behind this book is you do an 8-week elimination diet where you cut out a lot of the common triggers for allergies from food. And she honestly makes a really good case for it. There's so much science in this book to back up what she's saying. I was willing to give it a try. So basically, I cut out gluten, corn, tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, as well as oranges and bananas. You would be surprised when you go to do this how much, gluten I knew would be in a lot of things. Wheat is in so many products that are in cans and boxes, but even more so corn. Like corn starch and corn syrup solids are in everything. Even a lot of your gluten-free products have corn in them. So it was a little difficult for me to, find all the products I needed to do this. And then she also suggests other things adding into your diet to help with inflammatory pain. So that includes drinking a lot of herbal tea, green tea, which I do love tea, but I definitely hadn't been drinking it every day. So I turned that into a habit every morning, having a cup of strong green tea. It includes upping certain vitamin intakes. So that would be vitamin B, omega-3, and magnesium, which have been connected to if you're kind of low or deficient in those, that can lead to chronic pain. So I started doing that. And then I got allergy tested. So I got tested for food allergies to see what was going on. And I was very surprised to find out I wasn't allergic to potatoes or peppers or tomatoes or anything like that, but a high sensitivity to gluten, corn, and peanuts. Peanuts I don't normally eat anyway. I don't like them. I don't love peanut butter. But gluten and corn were certainly a huge part of my diet in the past. If you watched my Cook With Me videos, you know my home cooking. I feature flour in a lot of my recipes. So one would think this would be very difficult for me, right? I have very poor willpower. I don't know what happened. I was able to do it. Some sort of supernatural power came over me and I was able to stick with it. And I cannot believe, I instantly lost 5 pounds, first of all, within a week of starting this. And then I've been gradually losing more and more without counting calories at all. So, I wasn't doing the whole Noom, really tracking every single thing I was eating and how many calories it equaled. I wasn't doing that at all. And I still lost weight. And then my pain levels started to not disappear. I still have some pain, but far, far less. And the weather here in Canada is getting colder, which usually equals much more pain for me. And it hasn't been happening. And I have so much more energy. I normally want to have a nap every afternoon. I haven't needed to do that. At night, like my husband is falling asleep and I'm up still an hour later because I still have energy. So it's really remarkable. So if you are someone like me and you are suffering from an autoimmune disease, maybe it's rheumatoid arthritis, maybe like me, you have fibromyalgia, or just unexplained aches and pains, maybe you have Crohn's or colitis or huge digestion issues, I so recommend this book. I will link it below because I think you can definitely get it on Amazon. So I will link that below with an affiliate link for you guys if you would like to purchase it for yourself. This was so worth it. So I would say between Noom and this Meals That Heal Inflammation program, like if you had money out there to choose between the two, I would maybe try this book first, the inflammation program book first, and see how you do with that. And then if that doesn't work, yeah, give Noom a try. Or maybe you could do them in combination with each other. I mean, you can do Noom, and if you're eating foods you're sensitive to or allergic to, your body is in an inflamed response. And what Julie explains in this book is then you don't absorb all the nutrients you need from that food. So that's when a low-calorie diet can be really dangerous because you're not absorbing the nutrients you need. So I feel like I'm probably eating more, but my body's using those nutrients, and then instead of all of that food that I'm sensitive to just kind of being stuck in my system, or she goes into a lot of information about leaky gut and food leaking out into your bloodstream, which was happening to me, I am positive. And now I can just digest it easily. I won't get into the details about that, but I'm definitely digesting my food a lot more fully and more often, and it's not sticking with me like it used to. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. Can you sense that through the camera, you guys? What do you think? Do you think I should do some cook with me videos using the meals, like using some anti-inflammatory foods in some of the meals I've been doing? I feel like I would love to do that because I specialize in comfort food that really tastes good, and that's tricky to do, maybe sometimes eliminating wheat and corn. But I've found a lot of recipes I like. So, you know, give a thumbs up or leave a comment below if you'd like me to do some anti-inflammatory meal prep videos for you. And in the meantime, here are some more videos to the side if you want to just keep watching here. It's been really fun spending time with you today. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And I want to just wish you guys the greatest success on finding good health for yourself. I hope you find it. We'll see you in the next video, okay? For the least, this is Jen.